Title of my sermon is An Art Form Without an Audience. Of course, there were other title contenders. As you know, I kind of always come up with multiple titles. The other title contenders were Things Circle Back or 6 Degrees of Separation. But my personal favorite was You Have Got to Be Kidding Me. And trust me, there's a reason for that third title. Last week, I had my kind of periodic catch-up call with my friend, Pastor Ned Linhart in Cameron, Wisconsin. Now, some of y'all may remember Pastor Ned and his wife, Jill, and their beautiful daughter, Taya. We've been friends a long time, and they were here a couple of Christmases ago. Taya was here. They were at the Christmas party. Anyway, in our call last week, Ned shared that he and Taya had been on a road trip to Montana, where he grew up. And they ended up staying the night in Glendive, Montana, which for those of you who are MABC sermon trivia nuts, is the same town where years ago, on our motorcycles, in our biker leathers, Toby and I were turned away from a motel because they thought we were Hell's Angels. Apparently the motel is still there, which is why Ned and Taya decided to stay at a different motel. Ned said he went in, he checked in, everything seemed fine, people were nice, the facility seemed clean. But then he came back out to the car to get his bags, and right beside the car was a truck with a logo, TLC Lingerie. Ned was like, what kind of motel is this? Just then a woman gets out of the truck, and Ned, ever the pastoral investigative journalistic reporter, said, "Who are you and what is this?" What unfolded was extraordinary. The woman's name was Tana Ray, who is watching right now from Montana. Travis, can you show a picture of Tana? This is Tana. Tana started TLC Lingerie service for breast cancer survivors in rural areas who couldn't otherwise get fitted for bras after surgery. Can I have an amen? Right? She now runs the business out of a converted bakery truck, which she retrofitted into a tiny boutique. Can you show us the truck, Travis? Isn't that great? And could you show us here? She is with Ned's beautiful daughter and some other ladies with Taya. And there they are in Glendive. Thank you, Travis. Tana drives across Montana to tiny farming communities, assisted living facilities, people's homes, churches, community centers, whatever, bringing healing and dignity to women who would otherwise go unseen. As she said, I want people to know that they're perfect just the way they are, and that I'm here to help them feel comfortable in their own skin. Ned said the part of the story and experience that struck him wasn't even the gift that she offered, but the quiet way in which she did it. Tana had found this community in need, and it's totally under the radar. Her work is not some big public grand gesture to meet that unseen need. There were no press conferences or speeches or celebrity endorsements. It was just quiet, unsung ministry of love. There's actually a Japanese word for this that I found this week. It's called toku, I-N-T-O-K-U, and translated it means good done in secret. Good done in secret. You know, kind of like holding the door for someone else when no one else is looking, or maybe refilling the coffee pot at work without putting a sticky note on it to say, I did this, you're welcome. Or being a secret Santa who secretly pays off someone's layaway. Good done in secret is such a wonderful philosophy. But sadly, these days, it's just a little too easy to be strategic about kindness. We make use of it. We do it in ways and at times that people will see and give us credit. And Jesus had a word about that Richard read for us today in the book of Matthew. Jesus said, "Do not sound a trumpet before your good works. Do not stand and pray on a street corner. Beware of practicing your righteousness before others in order to be seen by them." Now that's the NRSV translation in our Pew Bible. But I also love the translation of this passage by something called The Message. Hear this translation. "Be especially careful when you are trying to be good so that you don't make a performance out of it. It might be good theater, but the God who made you won't be applauding." Woo, can I have an amen on that? Woo. The God who made you won't be applauding at that theater. A few years back, a book came out by author David Zweig entitled Invisibles: The Power of Anonymous Work in an Age of Relentless Self-Promotion. His argument? You do not have to merchandise yourself to matter. He went on to say that most great accomplishments happen because of people no one even sees. Like the production team for a great television broadcast, or the guards and tackles of a football team who protects the one that actually scores. Green Bay's playing today. That's where that came from. Okay, what can I say? I mean, think about the people who are changing the world every day without fanfare. Teachers who stay after school to tutor a child on the brink of giving up. Writers who labor over a sentence that no one will ever know required 3 days of editing and 5 cups of coffee. Susan, that's for you. Even celebrities, well, some of them, know the virtue of good things done in quiet ways. Take legendary Jimmy Stewart. Already an Oscar-winning film star at the time in 1941 after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Jimmy Stewart enrolled in the Army and became a highly decorated combat pilot in World War II. When the war was over, he refused to let the studios use his service to promote his movies. No one even knew until after he retired. Teachers, writers, war heroes, maybe one of the best examples of people doing good things quietly is restaurant waitstaff. Hello. Last week, Reverend Dr. Cheryl Dudley and I had a dinner to celebrate her upcoming retirement at a busy steak frite restaurant across the way. It had a prefix menu which included all-you-could-eat fries. Say no more, okay? Just that right there. That said, the restaurant was utterly chaotic. Loud tables, impatient, impertinent, even rude customers everywhere. And in the middle of all this uproar was this very quiet, soft-spoken waiter with the most radiant smile I have ever seen in my entire life. And Cheryl asked him, "How do you keep smiling in all this mess?" And he laughed and said, "'Cause I have the best job in New York City. I get to feed hungry people unlimited French fries." I mean, Cheryl and I might have been the only ones who noticed his joy, but that's the point. Goodness doesn't need an audience to be real. Doing good things in quiet ways. But I want to take this idea just one step further. When goodness is done quietly, when kindness is offered without applause, When love shows up without needing credit, it's not just an act of kindness. It becomes an art form. Friends, we are all artists. And I don't know, Ben just went, what? I'm going to say it again. Yeah, you agree. Okay, good. We are all artists. All of us. We were created by a God whose very identity is creation itself. And when we stop performing for the world and start acting from that holy center, our work becomes part of that sacred art. It becomes an art form without an audience. Speaking of Montana, the perfect image of this comes from, of all places, the TV series Yellowstone. What can I say? Everyone knows I love it. Gonna wedge it in. Here we go. In one of the episodes, there was a great moment when a famous radio cowboy tries to tell a young ranch hand that true cowboying, riding, roping, has nothing to do with the glitzy rodeo arena. Nothing. He explained that his high point as a rider and a cowboy happened alone in a remote field in San Saba, Texas, without a soul watching. He said, know this, cowboying is the most glorious work you can do that no one ever sees. It's an art without an audience. Well, friends, kindness is the most glorious work we can do that many times no one ever sees. It's an art form without an audience. It's an art form, however, of the Most High. Let me ask you this question. How many times last week, even in the tiniest way, did you maybe get irritated because someone didn't appreciate something you did? Like no thank you, no acknowledgement, no gold star. We all do it. But Jesus is trying to save us from the exhaustion of living as a performer. When we stop doing things for applause, the act itself becomes the reward. The kindness becomes the prayer. The generosity becomes the offering. The moment becomes the grace. As Tana Ray, our friend from Montana, said about her ministry, just to know that we are making a positive difference in one person's life every day is an honor. So here's your homework this week. Everybody ready? Got your paper and pen? Do one good thing in secret. That's it. Just do one good thing in secret. And if you can't think of anything, here's one idea. This coming Thursday is World Children's Day. Maybe consider making an anonymous donation to what Rodney described earlier this morning in our service, our Children's Relief Fund to help fight children's hunger. Information on our website. Or maybe you make an anonymous donation to TLC Lingerie. Information about her business will be in the e-blast tomorrow. But whatever you do, next week, just do one good thing in secret. No announcement, no Instagram story, no telling your spouse or your friend or your pastor. Just do one kind thing in secret. Create a work of divine art. Just you and God. Because friends, trust me, in the end, God is the only audience we will ever need. And the people said, Amen. Amen.